Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF X-Fit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio back. We're going to be talking about NHRA Drag Racing. I'm Joe Castello and the American Rebel Light Beer. 4-wide NHRA Nationals at zMAX Dragway. The 1000th NHRA Top Fuel race. Shawn Langdon gets it done. He wins the 1000th race. Goes down in history. Really amazing. Amazing to see the event, the way it transpired, the way it played out. Brittany Force 341. That milestone is now in the books. A lot of history. Shawn and Brittany both making history in different ways on the same weekend. We're going to talk about all of it. Shawn Langdon scheduled to join us here on the show. Also, Austin Prock scheduled to join us. Austin Prock has won back-to-back races and been overshadowed back-to-back races. Tony Stewart wins his first race. Shawn wins out there as the champ for the first time. And then he does it again on the 1000th Top Fuel race, where you got Big Daddy Don Garlitz in the house. He's getting the trophy, the remake of the trophy. So we're going to catch up with Austin, see what he has to say. But just amazing, amazing stuff. I see Shawn signing in down there, getting ready. While he gets signed in, let's watch the final round as called by Brian Lowndes, Tony Pedregon, and the interview by Bruno on NHRA on Fox. And then we'll catch up with our winner. All you Kalitta Motorsports fans, share the show. We're going to hear from Shawn, 1000th race winner.
It's going to go down to lanes 1 and 2. Shawn Langdon appears to have the pace. It is Shawn Langdon. 371.4, 330 miles an hour. Connie Kalitta, his team owner, was running top gas at the 63 Winter Nationals that Don Garlitz won the first trophy at, and Shawn Langdon has delivered for his team.
Shawn Langdon makes history here in Charlotte, the 1000th Top Fuel win. We've got Big Daddy Don Garlitz on board. We've got Andy Ross on American Rebel Light to hand you the Wally. Shawn, you get this, bring this big bad boy home. I hope you brought a separate car or truck or trailer to haul it back. Congratulations, my friend.
Well, that's why we got you muscles over here. You can carry it for me. Nah, man, this is to have Don down here and American Rebel. Thank you guys for everything you do, but my team, man, these guys are they're badass. I didn't hold my own weight on the starting line. I was a little slow today. I don't know why, but I had a good race car, and Connie Kalitta leads the way. Man, everything goes to Connie, and just fortunate to be able to drive a race car for him. We have Future Energy Solutions on the side, and everyone at Kalitta Air. Brian, man, he's such a badass. That right there shows why we love having Brian on board. I mean, he gives everybody. He's the backbone of this team. So, all the credit to the crew guys. Great job to them. Great win, 1000th win. That's special. That's pretty cool.
Very cool. And he joins us now, winner of the 1000th Top Fuel race. That's history forever. And amazing. Shawn Langdon, welcome to WFO Radio. What's up, Shawn?
What's going on?
Watching that, you're right. Bruno is definitely jacked. It's crazy how big that dude is. But now a couple days has gone by, right? You're there with Garlitz and Conrad. 1,000 wins. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a great opportunity, to just be a part of it, really. Standing in the winner's circle with Connie and Garlitz, it was kind of a pinch me moment a little bit for me, where it was like, man, I don't know how I got here. I don't know what I did, but it seems like I blinked an eye, and next thing I know, I'm standing there sharing stories with Connie Kalitta and Don Garlitz in the winner's circle at a 1000 Top Fuel race. Was pretty wild.
you've won a lot of races over your career. You made a lot of laps in just everything. And especially this year, by the way, like over there in the Middle East, like you never stopped racing from last year. But every once in a while, it's just like a different deal. Coming into this 1,000th race, did you mark it? Did you think about it? Was it just another race until you kind of got there? Because for me, it kind of snuck up on me like, oh man, this is kind of a big deal. And then when we had Darrell Gwynn there and Doug Herbert there and, everybody was there and we're making a bigger deal of it, that trophy was like, oh man, this thing is going to be wild. Whoever wins it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think much of it, to be honest. I didn't really see nothing on NHRA.com, so I didn't really read anything about it. It was just kind of like when they were talking about Rob Goodman, my PR guy, was saying, what would it mean to you to win the 1,000th? It was like, I just kind of thought like, well, it's just another race, I mean, and that's kind of my mentality in a lot of things. I really treat, a test session like I do a final round, like I do a first round, like I would a championship run. I just really try to keep the same mental temperament at all times. That way, I don't really feel like I get up for any moment or I get down for any moment, because I just treat every moment the same. That way you just kind of have like a, same temperament tendencies, where you don't really feel like you feel any more pressure one run to the next. So yeah, I just kind of thought, 1,000th race, that's cool, and then, it was when I rolled around the corner and got out of the car and I saw Garlits there, was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And obviously how heavy that trophy was, but Cold Hard Art, they always do a good job making those trophies pretty cool. So that was a pretty neat moment. And then obviously sharing stories with Don was pretty cool too. I've had some conversation with him throughout the years, just, but more of kind of in groups of people, never really had, me and him one-on-one. So, felt like it was pretty cool. We shared some stories, had some laughs, and obviously great man, and very appreciative of what he did, paving the way for kids like me, just starting out junior dragsters, man, just loving the sport. And then next thing you know, you're shaking hands, sharing winner circles with Connie Kalitta and Don Garlits. Doesn't get any better than that.
Crazy. No, it's crazy. Well, so after it was all over, there were some conversations about like, the way it all worked out. Like, isn't that perfect? Right? That Connie and Garlits, who were at the first race together, get to be together in the winner's circle. They're both, older gentlemen, God willing, I end up as healthy as they are at their age, but just the perfect moment. Almost. Garlits got a recreation of the trophy. The trophy, for those who don't know, it weighs over 60 pounds. It's insanity. And to be able to do it. Let's talk about how you got there, though. By the way, everybody wishing you congratulations. And, Charlie wants to know if it took a 747 to get the trophy home. Mr. TF 1000, you got a new nickname. Everybody's kind of into the deal. Really great stuff. Way to go, Shawn. I'm just down the road. Your shop in Ypsilanti. Like, I don't know if Sean's in Ypsilanti. You don't live in Ypsilanti.
Oh, a little bit south, but yeah.
Yeah. There you go. A little bit south, but just a huge deal. But let's talk about the runs that made you there. You mentioned Brian Hewson, right? Like, this guy is like a cool character. Like, Snake has got the cool meter pegged. He's the guy. But Brian Hewson, man, he's really just burst onto the scene. You guys have such great success. And the way he handles himself, even before the final, Dennis, the starter, was like, "You ready? You ready? You ready?" Brian's like, "Not ready." And just went back in there. I'm sure you saw that. Went in there, took like 20 more seconds, like just chill in the moment. And pulls it and I saw that. I wish I had videoed it. It was awesome. But just let's talk through race day, right? And get up to the final round, because the guy is cold as ice.
He is, and that's why I'm laughing, is because that's the same laugh that I have inside the race car when the starter guy, or the gentleman that's by the water box, goes, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And he's trying to get it all amped up, and then Brian will just spin around and be like, "No."
Yeah.
And it's just like this poor guy from NHRA is trying to build all this up and make it a great moment, and like, fire him up, and Brian's like, no, not ready.
Ready. Not ready. And he wasn't. And he thought, and there was, like, my estimation, having watched it, and this is what people love to hear about. Like, to me, this is the stuff that nobody saw it. You saw it. I saw it. Your crew guys saw it. He wasn't rushing for nobody. He took every second he needed to get it right, and you won the race.
But that's how Brian is. And that's why I love Brian. Like, Brian and I have been buddies since we worked on the Allen Obby car together. And I've known Brian's talents since then. Like, the guy is just, he's as good as it gets on the track and off the track, and that's why I feel like I'm good friends with him too. But I feel like I've known all this stuff that now it's like the world's getting to see, like, man, Brian's so badass. Like, yeah, he's always been badass. And but it's his demeanor on how just a little bit GQ he is. Like, he's just pretty suave when he goes up there. Like, he doesn't really get crazy up for the moments, and he doesn't really get that down in the moments. He walks off the starting line the same as he does setting a world record, as he does, like, smoking the tires off the starting line. And it's just the same temperament. But I love it because the only reason why I kind of laugh and I kind of joke a little about it is because I love it, because that's how I feel I try to be. Although a lot of people think it might be like a resting bitch face I'm walking around with on the starting line. I'm just focused. I'm just thinking about the run. I'm thinking about the groove, which way, where the sun's at on the tree. Like, there's just so many things going on in my head that, I just feel like, him and I, we just get along in a lot of those aspects so well. But I definitely think it's funny that, he takes his time, but he gets it right. And that's what he gets paid to do, is do the right job. And he does it to perfection. And, but yeah, it was funny. A couple races ago, I think we're running, who was it? Justin Ashley, maybe. And I hear Mike Green over there. He's like, "Are you ready yet, Brian?" So it's kind of funny, but Brian just looked back like, "Nope, like I'll be ready. I'll let you know when I'm ready." So, but he does a great job, man. I'm so lucky to have him on my team and to be my crew chief. And, it's funny because it's like years ago, I just pop on the internet and you read, Langdon sucks. He should be fired. He doesn't win races. And then it's like, now it's like different thing, right? I mean, we're having great success. The car's awesome. The team's great. And but I feel like I've done the same job, just over the years. It's just the waves of the sport. It's just how things go. You gotta take the highs with the highs and the lows with the lows, and not brag about the wins, but not throw shade or kick rocks on the losses. You just got to take it as it is, and definitely be appreciative of the opportunities that you get in life, and to be able to race for Connie Kalitta is one of those opportunities that forever grateful for. And I just feel like I'm in a really good position with a great team. I mean, the whole Kalitta Air Careers team, man, it's a group of just flat badasses. I have a really, really good team.
Great looking car this weekend too. It surprises me though. A couple of things, like getting into that zone that you're talking about, right? Like there have been times where I maybe had something to say to you and I've looked at you and be like, dude, this dude's getting ready, man. I'm not going to ask him this. I'll ask him later. I'll ask him after the run. I'll ask him after the race. I'll see him in the airport at some point. I'll ask him that question, like I get it. But it's a little shocking to me that as a guy who's won back-to-back Super Comp World Championships, a Top Fuel World Championship, a race in a funny car, won in everything, that a post, like, who would post that? Clearly an uneducated person. Like that person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about by the numbers. Forget the person we're talking about.
It happens.
Yeah, I guess. I get. Don't stay off the internet, Shawn. That's the deal. Stay off.
Well, I can't. I would love to. But yeah. We got companies that pay good money to see me post things. So
all right, I get it. You got to go. You got to go on there and all right. So let's look at the round by round. First round, you're in a quad with Scott Farley, Josh Hart, and Ida, and you and Josh are able to advance to that second quad, which I think is like you got Brittany and Justin and Josh, and you and Justin advanced, but Brittany over there with that 341 mile per hour top fuel dragster, like what a milestone. But the 4 wide, as it gets progressively tougher, knowing that this is not the last 4 wide of the year, taking it any differently, knowing that we're doing this again in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, whatever sells tickets, right?
Hopefully, we're not sure, but we hope so in the fall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully we could get everything in order. So yeah, I mean, it'll be different. We'll see how it plays out. I think we'll race whatever, 2 wide, 4 wide, it doesn't matter. But it's just, I think we need to get things procedurally down a little bit better from just, there's a lot of confusion and when people are racing for championships, I don't think they're going to take it as lightly as they would 5th race in the year. So just a lot of confusion, a lot of miscommunication, just from top to bottom. So hopefully we can get things panned out to where we can have a successful 4-wide event in the countdown when people are racing for championships.
Yeah, I thought that thought. The chaos of 4-wide, the added stress with the added stress of the countdown, which is people get on the chip on the countdown as well. That has the potential to be extra. So I do hope we can smooth out all of the issues. Maybe we will, because we've done it one time. So, you got that final round. You got Justin over there. You got like the best of the best in there. Smoke trying to win back-to-back. And Antron. That was an epic final round, like storyline wise. You said you were a little late. Kind of surprised that you were a little slow on this given day. Everybody else was 70 except for Justin. But what do you make of that? Like, you won the race. So when you reflect on it, is there something, you ate? Is it just something that happens?
I hit the gas on time. The tree just came down early.
Okay.
No, it happens. Justin's just good. I mean, he got us.
And I'm just quoting you, by the way. I'm quoting you in the winner's circle. You had said to the world that on this given day, you weren't sure, but you were just, the team won it.
Yeah, no, they did. They definitely saved my ass. And that was the first thing I said to Brian. I said, thanks for saving my slow ass. I definitely wasn't trying to be 70. I felt like, in qualifying, I had a couple, in the 50s, and I felt like that's where I should have been, mid-low 50s. But, just some days, yeah, I mean, I'm talking, I was, 62 and 66 or 64, something like that. And
yeah, 68, 62, 71 were the lights in elimination. So to me, those are, solid.
Yeah, I mean, they're average. So, I did do a bad job, but, I definitely hold myself to a high standard. It's not the job I wanted to do. I kind of set my standard. I felt like I should have been mid-low 50s, and I wasn't. But, sometimes you just have days that you're not on, and, that's why they always say surround yourself with good people. And luckily I'm on a great team, and luckily Brian's got that car hauling butt, and my whole team's just done a fantastic job giving me a great car. No mistakes, man. These guys are just they're so bulletproof on this car. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to be a part of. It's nice when you have a good team with good chemistry and great group of guys, man, that work hard, and it's nice to see the benefits from that.
You are now the points leader, and 60 points ahead of Tony Stewart, that's just cool looking at. Antron 63 back, Doug 122 back, Brittany 151 back, and so on and so on. Heading to Chicago, got a couple weeks off. To me now, it feels like, and I want you to expand on this a little bit, just like, okay, the season is now rolling. Time to make some hay, right? You guys got a good car. You're a good driver. You guys are grooving. Just groove. But you tell me, how do you look ahead at this?
Yeah, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. You don't want to get too far ahead, but obviously the car's running good. So you just want to, stay hot while you can. And I feel like, got a good group of guys and got a lot of confidence in, not only with the car, but with the ability of the team. And so, obviously this is, a little bit of the part of the year where last year, we had a good start, but kind of got into a runner-up setting and which was still good. But, obviously I know, Brian's very focused on getting the win. So I think now we just kind of take some of the stuff and address the little bit hotter conditions at these next few tracks that we're going to go to. Obviously Q2s are going to be very important, is to set the tone in qualifying. And then potentially with some short fields of, 13, 14, 15 cars, you want to take full advantage of that if you get the opportunity to get those buy runs. So Q1 is really important to set the tone to get in the back of the pack for Q2 on Friday nights, heading into the hotter track. So, there's still a lot of things to look at and think about, but, I feel like that this team's done a really good job of that, of taking it one run at a time and addressing each situation as it comes and not getting too far ahead of yourself. And, obviously we're looking at continuing the success we had last year, but, improving that a couple steps further to, compete for that championship again and hopefully get that championship.
Toyota had a bunch of guests out there, William Sawalek and Sam Mayer. We wanted to talk to those guys on the starting line. It didn't work out, but did you get to, show off drag racing to those guys? Toyota always does a great job bringing everybody out. Did you put them in a car? Did they get any? I always love the idea. Maybe the next Tony Stewart down the road is getting the passion on this given weekend. Yeah, no,
I met them over at Doug's Pit. They did a picture deal. But yeah, no, Toyota, man, we're going to miss those guys. They're such a great partner. I've been partnered with them since my first year, 2009. And they took me under their wing as young kid, first year, rookie year, and through the ups and the downs and the course of the valleys of the different teams I've been a part of, they've stuck with me every sense of the way. And yeah, I'm definitely going to miss them. They've do such a good job with their drivers, or what they call their athletes. Just the opportunities, the B2B, the cross marketing, the introductions of just, I've met so many people through Toyota, and it's just you really feel like family with them. They take you in, and I mean, they have athletic centers, and they have nutritionists, and they have doctors on staff, and they have all these things. Just they give us vehicles to drive, and they really go above and beyond a lot more than a lot of companies do. Not to take away from anybody, but they're definitely going to be a company that we're going to miss for sure.
I'm hoping they change their mind. Corporations sometimes change their mind. I'm like, hey, Toyota, please change your mind. But we got a long way to go. Shawn, thank you very much. Congratulations on your win, 1,000th win. You are now obligated to go to like the 1,500th race and the 2,000th race when you're like 70 and 80. And the next generation is, I don't know what will be drag racing then, but you've locked yourself into drag racing history in a way that it's forever. It's a pretty big deal. And I love the fact that you, a little emotion with it, Connie and Garlitz. Just a huge deal, man. Congratulations.
Well, I'll be there as long as they're burning nitro.
Yes, right. As long as they're burning nitro, which should be, hopefully.
They're burning batteries. I'm out.
Me too. I don't, I like the sound. I need the sound, baby. All right. Thanks, Shawn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go. Shawn Langdon with us here on WFO Radio. As long as they're burning nitro. They better be burning nitro. That's going to be our hook. Are you kidding me? All right, guys. Appreciate everybody out there. Share the show. Fans of Kalitta Motorsports, hang around, because this guy is the reigning funny car world champion, and he has been very patient the past 2 weeks as the 1,000th Top Fuel race and Tony Stewart's first win has got in the way of the interview, but we got him to talk a little back to back, but we're going to do it right after this.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
And joining us now, world champion in funny car, Austin Prock. What's up, Austin? How are you?
Doing good, Joe. How you doing?
So, Shawn had the Shawn Art Nouveau lighting going on, which I thought was really cool. You're more modern and balanced. But I'm joking about your first 2 wins of the season being slightly overshadowed. But the Tony Stewart thing, you were one of the first people to recognize the significance that was for drag racing. And then here we are at the 1,000th Top Fuel race. It's just been kind of big stuff happening the past few weeks, and you're like getting cranked up now, have won back-to-back 4-wide races.
Yeah, no, those were definitely big wins for Tony Stewart. Being there in the winner's circle with him really kind of made our story full circle. We try and do the math last week, and I think I've known Tony for like 20 years now. So raced with him and known him for a while, and for him to get his first Top Fuel win and me be on the other side of it in the Nitro Funny Car, that was really cool. And then Shawn, he was well deserved to earn the 1,000th win. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. Very talented behind the wheel of those race cars, and it was cool to win with him as well.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, right? In the interest of the WFO listener knowing what is real, and I'm a big believer in don't let the exact truth get in the way of a great story. But like it is often said, and you've answered this on the show, but we'll do it again. It often gets said that Austin Prock drove for Tony Stewart. But is that exactly accurate, or it's Austin Prock's racing operation was based out of Tony Stewart's shop, which is true?
We raced out of Tony Stewart Racing. It was all of my family's own equipment, but we got a lot of support from them, whether it was parts or any of his sponsors essentially that had product in the shop. We had full access to obviously all the technology in that building. Whether it was the machine shop, fabrication shop, or just technology that they learned over the course of the years, doing it day in and day out. They really shortened up my learning curve and gave me an opportunity to really showcase my talents and my brother's talents and just be surrounded by great people. I always say me or my brother, I don't believe, would be in the position we are today without the support of Tony Stewart, many years back.
That's great. That's great to hear. Great for the clarification. And now that this guy has won a race, the sky is the limit. Let's talk about this weekend's action. I do want to talk about Rick Hendrick, but let's go through the process. You're the number 2 qualifier, first quad, Buddy Hull, Ron Capps, Cruz Pedregon. Could have easily been the quad of doom, probably would have been. We just didn't do that in the pre-race. You and Capps are able to advance. Then it's JR Hunter. JR went red. That was a bit of a shock. But again, 4 wide, you and Capps advanced to the final round. Walk us through race day to that point. It was, it felt hectic. It was a little hot, some, issues, but that's 4 wide, and we're going to do it again in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was excited going into Sunday morning. Saturday evening, winning the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge really gave us some confidence for me behind the wheel, and obviously confidence for my whole Cornwell Tools Chevrolet SS team. We had a great race car all weekend long, and going into Sunday, I felt like if we did a similar job, what we did on Saturday, we were going to have a great opportunity at trying to win. So, we did just that, made a really nice run first round. Would we go 390? I think, I was 050 flat on the tree. That's a pretty sporty package, per the conditions and for the 4 wide. So yeah, that was a big win. Kept lane choice all day long, rolled into the second round and made another good run. That was a little chaotic up there for sure with everything that went on with the starting line. I thought I double stepped it. And then I see JR, dragging me. And I'm like, man, what is going on? And, because you're amped up when you're racing all those guys up there. They're all great levers. And that was a big round. And my foot, I felt like it twitched and I heard pipes go up. And I'm like, man, that wasn't me. And then I stand on the gas. I'm like, I must have been dead late, because he was way out there. And they get on the radio at the top and they're like, hey, you won. I'm like, what just happened? Just that split second of a distraction completely ruins your, your mental process of thought. I don't even remember really going down the racetrack if I was in the center of the groove, lifting, pulling the parachutes, just because you hear those pipes go up and you're automatically, a few hundredths of a second behind the race car. And when you're only driving it for 3.8 seconds, that's a big chunk of the run.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean this in a good way. Like, this has got to be hard, right? It's got to be hard. And so when world champions are up there and are on the ragged edge of intensity, off balance slightly, to me, I think that translates to the fans, and that's what they want to see. I think that's why we're doing this again in the playoffs. Shawn just mentioned it. Whatever sells tickets. We all know that for whatever reason, the fall race at zMAX is a little lighter. I have my theory that we've trained the local community that 4 wide is the jam. And 4 is bigger than 2. So if you're like a new drag racing fan and you go there to see 4 wide, why would you go see 2 wide, right? Meanwhile, we are the purists. But I hope we can, if have a similar crowd in the fall, that would be a win.
Yeah, for sure. I felt like the crowd was pretty good there for Charlotte. It's always hard when, you're racing on the same weekend, not too far away from each other with other professional motorsports. So, I thought the crowd was good, and I hope the crowd's even bigger. I want to see these places sold out everywhere we go. And if we sold out a place like Charlotte, that would be a big deal because there's a lot of grandstands there. So, hopefully we continue to put on great competitive racing as a sport and, for the race fans and get more eyes on it. And, I believe we will be able to sell places out like that. So maybe the fall will be the first time. I'm looking forward to the 4 wide. Obviously, it's been good to me so far this year, and if it was good to me in the fall, I think we'd be looking pretty good.
All right, so you got your champ now, right? It's a very different season for you. Last year, it was kind of just like a happy time, obviously, with the exception of Robert's health issue and the reason that you were called upon. But I think everybody thought it was awesome for the fam to get together and just be able to race. And then you go on this dominant historic season and the rest is history. We know what happened. This year, you're the champ. You got the one on. Nobody's taking you lightly. No one's giving you anything. You got the bullseye on the back. And the first couple of races, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, domination by Austin. So some people asked some questions. And now you're back in the points lead. We're 5 races in. And all of a sudden it's like, this could turn into 2024 real quick. How did you even deal with any of that? Like, was that even a thing for you guys? Like, okay, title defense, want to keep it going. You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty comical, actually. I would say not singling just you out, but every reporter, everybody behind the microphone has been saying how horrible we've been at the beginning of this year. And you look back, we ran 379 in Bradenton. We went to the final. We go to Gainesville. We're running 384 on a 100 and some degree racetrack, and it blows the rear end up, which sets us back weeks. And we go to Phoenix. We go to the final round. I think we qualified 1 or 2. We've lost first round twice, and I think gone to the finals or won the rest of them. We've all thought it was kind of comical on. It hasn't been exactly what we did last year at the beginning of the year, but hasn't been a poor performance at all. Just missing a little bit of consistency, and I hope we keep floating underneath the radar, and we'll keep surprising you.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like to separate myself from all of that talk. I feel like I have been pretty positive, generally speaking, but I'll come down on you when it's necessary. I just haven't seen the point just yet. What about this guy, Mr. H? You're staging up for the final round. I wonder, does his presence give you like a feeling, right? You got Hagen, you got Alexis, you got Caps in the final round, but you've got Rick Hendrick. He's a big sponsor. He's a big supporter. His love for drag racing goes all the way back to the early 80s. He's part of Rayer Marson and Shepard's Pro Stock team. And he's not in Talladega. He's out there with us. It's a huge deal. And you got a shot to win the race for him. Are you able to not think about that?
I'll tell you what, I've never felt more pressure in my life than first round when he was standing behind my race car. All I wanted to do was do a good job and turn on a win light for him up there, put on a good show for him. And we did just that. Like I've said in the past, I feel like I performed pretty well under the pressure, and that was a really special moment for me. Meeting him finally that morning. He's supported my race car and John Force Racing for, I think, over a year now. And I've talked to him on the phone, talked to him on FaceTime. We always text each other back and forth, but I never got to shake his hand. And to do that Sunday morning, that was pretty cool for, a young kid, just dreaming of becoming a professional race car driver. And now you got John Force and Mr. H, both having your back. It was pretty special moment. So, when I heard he was coming to the races, I'm like, we got to get it done. He's on my race car all year long. He's on the wing, he's on the side of the car, he's on the hood of the car. We've had a good relationship and just wanted to do him proud while he was there. And when I got out at the top end and I'm celebrating up on the roof of this Chevrolet, and I look out there and Rick Hendrick's the first guy I see. It was pretty much me and Tony's picture recreated, but it was me and Rick Hendrick. So that was really cool. I couldn't believe that he was down there, and to see the excitement on his face, and that was really special.
Amazing stuff, and great for drag racing. It just did proximity. Like Hendrick Motorsports is like an iconic team, and the fans of his other teams, like, oh man, okay, Mr. H is into this, huh? Let's go check it out. Let's go see what it's all about. And it really worked out. Anything you can share, like hanging out with him, something cool, something drag racing? I'm sure this guy's got a zillion incredible stories of the racing he's done, the cars he's had. Clearly, like I got him to share one about Lee Shepard porting the heads that Jeff Bodine won the first big race with. But I'm sure it's probably hard to not just pepper him with cool questions.
Yeah, well, it was difficult when you're standing next to Beckman. He's the historian, and they can really go at it. They both love the history of motorsports, and they're both very sharp on both of it. But I never realized that, one, Rick started drag racing, and two, that he had a funny car at one point. And I believe he said Dale Poldy drove it, which I recognize that name. So
of course.
So that was pretty cool. Like I just never knew that he was really into drag racing. I knew that he liked force and thought the cars were cool, but I didn't actually know that he was a part of it. So that was really cool to learn. And however many years later, he's got 2 more hot rods, or 2 more funny cars. Yes.
And he mentioned, it was cool that he mentioned Greg Anderson. Obviously, the pro stock cars are similar to what he's doing over there with the naturally aspirated deal. He's investing. Oh my gosh, he's investing so much in the sport of drag racing. People got to do it right. And hopefully he continues. Let's look ahead. Chicago, a couple weekends off, and then Mother's Day next weekend. And then we're going back to Chicago.
Thanks for the reminder.
That's why I'm here. By the way, I haven't seen your ma.
Yeah. We had some weather roll through here a couple weeks ago, and
I remember
their bus got pretty beat up. It was up off the ground and knocked the windows out of it, and pretty much totaled it. But how these insurance companies are nowadays, it's going to be a little bit of a slow process getting it back. She was supposed to be in Charlotte, but obviously the bus wasn't going. So with their fur babies, as they call them, their dogs and cat, you got to have a pretty tight schedule on, if you're taking them in the motorhome or if you're leaving them at home. So they're just as much family as me and Thomas and my brother Sam are. So she decided to stay back home with them and cheer us on from the television. But I believe she'll be in Chicago. That's pretty much my home race, being from Lansing, Michigan. So hopefully we'll have a lot of family there and we can get the job done. I've never really had much success there in my career. My dad's had success there, but we had I think we had an ignition mag fail or something last year and lost by like 7 thou. So hopefully we'll keep the performance going that we've had the last few weekends and turn on 4 win lights. I'm looking forward to going back to 2-wide racing, trying to get back in the rhythm of what we're going to be doing most of the year. It should be a good time.
Yeah, and let's remember, everybody, we saved that market and nothing is guaranteed, right? Like, so we got to show up and show out for that race and pack the place and have a great time. It's, we're not begging you to come out and have a great time, right? It's going to be an awesome race.
I believe we have some night runs there, or at least one on Friday. Typically we do. So you can get with it there. You can haul the mail. So it's fun driving these funny cars at night, seeing the header flames out of the side of the windows and obviously seeing the header flames from the fans from the fans in the stands. There's nothing like that. You can't get it anywhere else. So looking forward to those night sessions coming up this summer.
So Brittany, 341, right? I think it's pretty interesting that the two 340 mile per hour NHRA cars, Task obviously did it in the preseason test, but are coming out of the John Force Racing camp. And I've talked to your dad, and he says, Grubnick is doing his own thing over there. It's very different, but you guys kind of ended up to the same place as top of the pyramid in your category when it comes to speed. That's a great milestone for John Force Racing to have that forever. The two first 340 plus NHRA cars. If Kenny Bernstein, the guy is the king of speed because of 300, you guys are both John Force Racing 340. That's a huge deal. I don't know if we even appreciate how big a deal it is just yet.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. To have our names, on that list as the two fastest in the, mine being the fastest in the history of the sport and hers being second quick. That's really cool. I'm not surprised that our cars at John Force Racing did it. We make a lot of horsepower over here and have a lot of intelligent people turning those knobs. So I was a little shocked that Brittany did it there. But now that you look back at it, you look at the conditions, the place is downhill, it's actually a pretty doable place there. You saw how many people ran 300 the 8th in that session. So that was really special to have me and Brittany's name up there in the history books. That's pretty wild. I still can't fathom all this that's going on in my life right now, the wins and the success. And I'm just riding a wave and just trying to look forward and keep performing at a high level and, doing a good job for all of our partners at John Force Racing.
Well, exactly. But, I don't want to, I have observed you, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are family to you, like Jason Galvin and whatnot, have seen you since you were a kid and all. I've known you for a little while now, but when it was announced, it was as if a switch flipped for you, and inside you said, this is the opportunity, no BS, let's get after it. And it was almost like you changed in a way. I'm sure you still have plenty of fun when the time is right, but it's very obvious you are, the intensity is very obvious around you on race day.
Yeah. When I got my first opportunity driving the dragster, pretty much the only advice my dad told me is, hey, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Don't F this up, and, I worked hard. I did, but the end goal has always been getting that opportunity with my dad and brother beside me. And not that I didn't take the top fuel car seriously. I definitely did. I drove pretty similar behind the wheel. I was always either first or second in the category, leaving the starting line. I always recovered the race car very well. Won on Pedal Fest. We just didn't quite have that run of personnel and consistency to, get to that championship level. We got really close with Ron Tobler and Joe Barlam in 22. I think we ended up losing the championship by maybe a round or less when Brittany won. So, I've always taken it seriously, but I'm really enjoying what I'm doing right now, and driving the funny car just kind of lit a fire under me. It's what my grandfather drove. It's what my dad's tuned a majority of his career on. And it's what I've always enjoyed watching and kind of fascinated me at, just how lethal they are. So, I've been having a lot of fun and definitely taking it serious. Like you said, I'm growing up. I was, 22 or 23 years old when I started driving professionally, and you're still a young punk then. And I'm going to be 30 this year, and, definitely getting my priorities in a different row, and just enjoying living life and driving this funny car.
That's awesome. Yeah. Old man, 30. That's it. Awesome.
Yeah, I know that sucks, dude.
It's all downhill from here, brother. That's it. So, well, enjoy the ride.
I don't look 30 and I don't act 30. So, age is just a number.
It really is just a number. It's just, you are old as you act, and you're doing good. You're mature. You're fine. Good stuff. I'm excited about this season, man. I'm really like the way it's playing out, right? Like you've got some competitors that are going to be emerging. Like I know Dickie and JR as the season rolls out, they're going to get better and better. It's just going to be awesome to watch, and whatever you can do with it, you do with it. But we're going to be watching along the way, and I just appreciate you coming on WFO here to share the behind the scenes of what went down. We had ourselves a great race, and now a couple weeks off on to Chicago, but thank you so much. And I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm glad I was finally up on the totem pole to sneak in here this weekend.
Yeah. Last week we blew you off.
And next weekend, if I win, or in Charlotte or Chicago, if I win 3 in a row, there's no excuse that you can't have me on, because that's not going to top whoever else wins.
That 3 in a row is very hard to do. That is like, plus the 2 4 wides. I listen, I hope NHRA doesn't get mad at me for saying these things, but there should be some sort of a bonus, right? You just won back-to-back 4 wide races. There should be something.
Yeah. I don't know. Has anybody ever done that? I think I've won at every 4 wide track twice in both categories.
Torrence.
Torrence probably. Yeah.
But in funny car, I don't know about that, but I just think it's an accomplishment. It's worthy of something extra, like some note. You swept the 4 wide, but again, now there's a 3rd race, so really you haven't. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be cool to do that. We would for sure be the first ones to do that. Nobody else has an opportunity to. So
facts. Let's track that one all the way into the fall. Austin, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Enjoy your couple weeks. Say hi to your mom, and we'll talk to you in Chicago.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on. See you later, all the fans. See you in Chicago, hopefully, and looking forward to keep this train rolling, and an exciting 2025 year. It's been fun so far.
Hey, look, you'll love this guy. He says he thought you were closer to 24 or 26.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, most people say 16. Or I was at the golf course yesterday, and I shanked one into some lady's yard, and I'm walking up there, and I'm like, "Hey, did you see a ball land?" She's like, "Oh, are you with the high school?" I'm like, "No, She's like, "You look like you're about 16."
Yeah. Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah,
and
I found my ball though. She was nice. So
that is the important thing. And listen, if you don't want golf balls in your yard, don't have a house on a golf course, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. All right, Austin. See you later.
All right. See ya.
There he goes. Austin Prock with us here on WFO Radio. How about that? Little Shawn Langdon, a little Austin Prock. Top Fuel Funny Car back-to-back, the 1000th Top Fuel race, all of these things. Put your comments in the comment section, guys. Let's hear what you guys have to say about the American Rebel Light Beer 4 wide nationals. I think there was a lot of cool stuff going on that I want to talk about, and I want to do that. We're going to do it right after
this.
For
more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
It really does need Foggit. Available at Summit Racing Equipment. Pick up a can of Foggit at Summit Racing Equipment. And I do want to mention a couple more of our WFO radio sponsors before we get into a little pro stock and a little pro stock motorcycle and really whatever else is on your mind. HusseyPerformance.net. David Allen and the team from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. They don't have to bring their manufacturing back to the United States of America because they never left. They always sourced and made all of their gaskets right here in the States. And they're not just copper head gaskets anymore. They're doing everything, right? And they can do oil pan gaskets, valve cover gaskets, and they can do them rapidly, usually ship out like the next day. So it's really amazing. Give them a call, 412-716-4872. And remember, they have contingency programs in the NHRA, Top Alcohol, Dragster, Top Alcohol, Funny Car, Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, and in the PDRA, Top Sportsman and Top Dragster. So if you want a quick turnaround time and you want the best gaskets possible, call David and the team at HusseyPerformance.net. Also want to shout out to our friends at Wright Trailers. Wright Trailers getting a big lot of love out there. On board with Matt Latino, 83331-WRIGHT. If you need a trailer nationwide, of course, they helped us out big time with Project Pontiac, and it just will never be forgotten. The fact that we can go out and race from time to time has been amazing. And so we really appreciate Michael Scott and the team out there. Also, RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Marvin Rodak. This is coffee, guys. I went to the grocery store and I'm buying a bag of coffee while my Rodax shows up. It's being shipped as we speak. And it's like, man, this is like $13. It's inferior coffee. What am I doing? The Rodax can't get here soon enough. 817-924-6821. Hot sauce, spice rub. This is gourmet coffee from around the world. Call Marvin and tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. And then, of course, there's Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Over and over again, I tell everybody, like, go to Frank Hawley's. Just do the dragster adventure. If you are not sure, you could get your super comp license. You can get your super gas license. You can learn to drive an alcohol dragster or funny car. Randy Couture is going to be on the show in the next couple of weeks. You know, the 6-time UFC champion who's going pro mod racing for Skag. He went to Frank Hawley's. Like, it is the most trusted means of learning to race. But it doesn't even make you have to do that. For a very nominal fee, you can spend the day just driving dragsters and having a lot of fun. FrankHawley.com. And of course, tell him you heard about it here on WFO Radio. And then there's Bernie's Speed Shop, 100,000 square feet. Josh Hart doing a great job out there in FlexJet Factory Showdown, showing his true love of drag racing and muscle cars. They've got frame off restorations. They've got body, they've got engine shops, they do it all. But the thing that I think is the most interesting, at least to me, is the fact that they can sell your classic muscle car on consignment. That you've got a car that maybe, it's the 9th car out of 10 and you want to move it. What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to sell it? These guys are pros. This is what they do. They get you the most money. They find the best possible way to do it, the best possible audience. And that might even be overseas. So go to Bernie's.com, Bernie's Speed Shop, and check them out and reach out to them and tell them you heard about it on WFO. Always like to shout out CWT Industries as well. Randy Neal's company, The Balance Machines, machine shops, the best in the business. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, Jesse, Total Seal, and everybody that sets us up here on WFO Radio. And one final note, Patreons, our VIP listener club. It takes a monthly membership, but you pretty much choose what you're paying. And you get the Monday Motivation Show. You get to watch the Ignition podcast, get to see us in our pajamas. I don't know if that's a selling point or something that makes you run away. But the Hear It From Heiner Pro Stock Show is a big hit. You learn the methodology of a Pro Stock crew chief from Michael Heiner. Great stuff. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. And finally, our WFO gear is always going on sale, whether it be the Miami Hollywood t-shirts, the sweatshirts, the Jet Car Fire shirts, all that stuff. You can get it on our website. It's always going on sale, 35% off. I highly recommend the Project Pontiac shirt. Got to pull the transmission out. FTI has offered to make one more adjustment to the converter to put it dead nuts on. So this thing is going to be deadly. I am very excited about that. Also ran into Brian from Powertube TV out there at the race. Bruno Massel is the new host of Pinks. They're doing new episodes of Pinks. Lose the race, lose your ride. I knew I'd get there eventually. Lose the race, lose the ride. And Bruno, Mr. Muscles, as Sean calls him, which is pretty accurate, is the new host. And they're going to be doing races. We will not be bringing Project Pontiac to Pinks. But download the Powertube TV app. They got a bunch of good stuff going on. All right, let's see what everybody else has to say. As you know, Matt Smith won in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Dallas Glenn won in Pro Stock. Dallas Glenn, it's like he and Greg are on a tear. It is fun to watch, but if I was another member of the field, I would be concerned. They are 11 points within one another. Hartford is third, 198 back. Hartford making another final round, just coming up a little bit short. So now you got a 2-horse race, and I keep trying to, I don't know what we're doing with it. Dallas and Greg, make it exciting. These guys are two vicious competitors that happen to come out of the same house, and somebody's going to not win. Somebody's going to be the loser. Someone's not going to win the season-long points championship. Someone's not going to win the U.S. Nationals. It could be one of many racers. Someone is not going to win the championship. Is it Greg who's going to do what he's doing and not win the championship? Is Dallas going to emerge? And I'm not counting everybody else out. But what you're seeing is like this two-driver domination at the moment. Erica Enders and Elite Motorsports made some strides this weekend. Hartford looking to capitalize. And now Pro Stock is on a mini break. And you got to say hats off to Matt Smith. After the run that Gage made in qualifying down in the 60s, for Matt Smith to go out there and win the race, that tells you something. 203 miles an hour. Let's see what everyone's got to say out there. Let's see some of the comments in the comment section. And guys, I encourage you to share the show. That's our marketing platform, honestly, is you sharing the show. Kara says, John Force Race is killing it. Proud and happy. If I was a fan of John Force Racing, if I was a fan, period, of John Force Racing, I would be very excited about my team right now. Brittany Force, that was huge, huge. Keith says the cars could run 350 if we went back to 1320. I don't know. I mean, yes, definitely. But what would it be like? And would it only be 350? Maybe it would be 360. I don't know what they would be running if we went back to 1320 and gave them whatever we want. Like, what if they were unlimited? What if we could just do anything? Maybe it'd be 370. I don't think the racing is better in any other format. Certainly not 1320. I think 1,000 foot, the sport has evolved to what it is, and it's never been better. The hit you get on the starting line from nitro cars, there's just nothing like it. Why doesn't NHRA allow 1320 races on tracks that have longer shutout? Because the racers, and this is like the last time I want to, Keith, thank you for this. Should be the last time we address this ever in history. The race teams don't want it. The race teams don't want it. Nobody wants it. It's unsafe. The cars are rolling, like they're this amazing explosion that happens at 900 feet. You want that to happen at 1,250 feet? Like, it's not. On the Ignition podcast, Matt in Australia was talking about this sport that he used to participate in, some sort of high-speed water skiing that they do in Australia on their rivers. And it's like a boat with an amazing engine traveling nearly 100 miles an hour or faster with, guys on the back water skiing. And this is what Matt in Australia used to do. This was his hobby that he participated in. He was an athlete. And as time has gone by and technology has advanced, he said they've lost like a lot of people because at some point you're just traveling too fast. You're just traveling too fast. And so you got to stop doing it. And then they're stopping it. It's happening less and less because you can't be going 140 miles an hour on the water and be water skiing and then oops, you fall, because then there's no recovery. There's no chance. And so going 360 miles an hour in a quarter mile, like, no. Let's just say no. Let's be smart enough to say no. That's not what we want. Like Austin Prock, that kid out there, they're doing it. There's a danger aspect to the sport at all times. It's part of it. Why do we want to like ramp it up even more for a couple of additional tenths of seconds of entertainment? Not worth it. I'm smart enough to say that. I am smart enough to say that. Is everybody else out there smart enough to come to that conclusion that it's not worth it? It ain't worth it. Plus the costs will go up. It's already so expensive. The costs will go up. The damage when an explosion happens will be worse. And then there's the alternative. NHRA like slows the cars and makes them less impressive and less powerful and less fun and less amazing to accommodate that. Oh my gosh, people would riot. They'd come out to the first race of 1320, the big return to the 1320. The cars would hit them and they would be like, nah, that's not as cool as it was. We're never coming again. And you'd never see them again. So in fact, let's take this opportunity to watch the Joe's Eye view of Austin Prock's win from the starting line and feel the power of 48,000 horsepower to 1,000 feet and try to figure out why it's insufficient for us. It's not. Let's watch. sound. Listen to the sound. The Jimmy Prock fist in the air is iconic. And I really would recommend to all of our, crew out there capturing video, like you got to key in on Jimmy as the car goes down the racetrack after it's over. His reaction to victory is the same every time. And he does, like Bender at the end of Breakfast Club, right? It's really cool. The guy's got a routine and you got to pay attention. Let's see. Carlos says cheers from Alaska. Great show once again. Thank you very much, Frisky. Any insight on the Pro Stock meeting? I read the Competition Plus article and possible rules changes. I do have some insight into the Pro Stock meeting. I think that this Pro Stock meeting was maybe one of the most captivating, interesting things that has happened in a long time. And I really wish we could have had cameras in there. And I was not in there, but just like at zMAX Dragway, it's this palatial, amazing place. It's beautiful. And they've got this giant conference room where they do a lot of meetings just for this point. And so you walk by and it's like, you're kind of like looking, to see who's in there, but you don't want to get caught like being the guy that's like, looking in there. But it's Richard Freeman and it's Greg Anderson and it's Hartford, it's Derek Kramer, and everybody's in there and it's packed. It's like a high school gymnasium and they're having a meeting in there and they're not, it's not peaceful. It's like they're going back and forth and it's kind of intense. And I'm thinking like, this is exactly the kind of thing we should be putting on TV, man. This is it. And there's profanity flying and there's people like, it's not bad. It's just adults working it out, working out their situation, figuring it out. And so cool. As far as like what came out of it, I've only heard some scuttlebutt. I've heard some things. So I'm not really at liberty to say because it wouldn't be accurate information. It wouldn't be like locked in. I can tell you that there were some things that they were considering, and I don't know what the Competition Plus article reported. There were some things that they were considering that I was against. I can tell you that I was against the return of hood scoops. I was against that because, man, I don't know one person that goes to watch something because of the hood scoop or not the hood scoop. And then they would all of a sudden look like top sportsman cars. Like, how do you tell the difference between a Pro Stock car and a top sportsman car? You don't. So hopefully when Dallas Glenn joins us next week, he can give us some insight. I got to do something to get you to watch next week. Don't know if there's a home game in September. The fall race at zMAX is always attendance challenged for 100 reasons. There's, this guy's referencing the NFL starting and the Panthers, Carolina, and all the things that are happening in Charlotte at that time of the year. This gives us a good opportunity to fight back a little bit. But I really believe, like my personal opinion is we trained the market. that 4 is greater than 2? Why would you go see 2 when you can see 4? And the answer is because you're a traditional purist drag racing fan like I am. That's why. I'll go to see the playoffs. But if you're the casual fan and you're going to go to 1 or none, you're going to 4 wide. Now that decision has been upended. Now they're both 4 wide. Which are you going to go to? The regular season race or the playoff race? So it's an interesting dichotomy. We'll see. For fans and sponsors, the 4 wide is too far away to really see what's going on. See, I disagree. I was there for the very first ever 4 wide run. For fans and sponsors, it's you're way closer than you are at Charlotte Motor Speedway watching stock cars go around the racetrack. You're like so much closer, and there's 40 of them, and people go. I think that's an excuse, Ken. I don't think it's accurate. Now, I will tell you, to watch 4 cars go down the racetrack in less than 4 seconds, it is a different viewing aspect. But when 2 wide dragsters go down the track and one smokes the tires, where do you look? Answer me that, because you're not watching them both. I know that. Like, you can't tell me you're watching them both. You either watch the one that goes or the one that doesn't go. And how is that any different? That's what I would say. I'm fighting back against the anti-4 wide guys. You guys have lost the argument. It's kind of over. It's just like, how long will the person just continue to go on and on and on and on about their opinion? And I respect it so much. I do. I respect it. It's great. But like, it's no longer really up for discussion. It's not a thing anymore. Joe, are you going to run project? Sorry, right? So dismissive of you all. So dismissive of you all. Yes. Joe, are you going to run Project Pontiac at any other race this season? There's been a Sports Nationals added at South Georgia Motorsports Park that I may try to get the car ready for. It's in July. I really want to support Raul and his team down there at South Georgia Motorsports Park, and also the Sports Nationals. Jegs has re-signed for the Sports Nationals, and I really want to support that. It's a 6-hour, 20-minute tow from where I am in South Florida. We are off that weekend. That's all the pro. The con is it's going to be like surface of the sun hot. So we'll see. My intention is to go. We'll see how it goes. Fast Eddie, who has now run 2 sportsman races and made the final round in both. This guy's a prodigy. Someone should hire him. What's up? Says good show. Have you heard anything about the IHRA management shakeup? There's a bunch of rumors flying around. Rumors. No, I haven't. What is this that you speak of? Yes, of course, I've heard all the rumors. And the thing is that I am not going to dignify any of the rumors. I'm very fortunate is that I got someone that I can call and find out what's going on. All the stuff that is circulating about the tracks and purchases and data centers and all of that. Like, I don't know about any of that. I don't want to give any credence to any of those rumors about, conveyor belts and distribution hubs. I don't know about any of that. All I know is that I have a good personal relationship with multiple people that are involved. And I will patiently wait till the time comes that I can ask legit questions from actual sources. And until then, but I will say this. As someone who works as an independent contractor for the National Hot Rod Association, it's important that everybody know that I'm not like an employee. Castello Media is my own personal business. I'm available for hire. I work very hard. I do television. I do mic stuff. I'm an MC like Jason Logan. He and I are in the same business, and we're available for hire. And at this moment, the NHRA hires me to be their announcer. But at the end of the year, they could decide they never want me to be with them ever again. And I would go and continue to work here in South Florida, and I would do stuff. The reason I tell you that, maybe I can earn a living as a racer. The reason I tell you that is to let you know that there is objectivity. And if any of this stuff that has happened over the past 3 months happened with the NHRA, the media coverage would have been brutal and merciless. And the stuff that the racers have posted, like, from the beginning, writing the story up and now writing it back down, it shows a dramatic double standard and that the NHRA, rightfully so, is held to an extremely high standard of professionalism, clearly, because things that I would say are very minor compared to some of the stuff that's being discussed out there are bantered about in the media and made into a big issue when they're really not. You know, we did have some timing system glitches this past weekend, and I saw a lot of racers like commenting about, you know, the motivation of the NHRA, like as if anybody wanted to have a glitch in the timing system. But at the same time, if anything like this happened, I don't know. I think it would be a big story. Just saying. Big story, guys. Another amazing start to the week with WFO. Thank you very much, sir. Team Elite is still having issues. Team Elite will continue to have issues for the next few races. The best thing that they've got going for them right now is this break that we've got with Chicago. No pro stock in Chicago. They got several weeks to go test. But this is not the kind of thing that you just from one race to the next, you find yourself out. Richard Freeman and Jake Hairston gave me, like, they don't have to tell me what they tell me. And I really appreciate it. Guys, if you're watching this, I really appreciate it for my understanding. When I come on the show, I want to feel like I've got a grasp on what their grasp is. And they're working through it, man. They are working through it. It is not easy when Greg Anderson finds something. And they're working on the new fuel, and they're working on many, many different factors. But this is why you're a fan of Team Elite, if you are, because you got to root for your guys. Like as a Miami Dolphin fan, you know, when Tua drops back to pass, I'm rooting for him. Matt Smith is a BA. Yes. Yet another great show. Thank you. Please share it. Congratulations, Matt in Australia. Funny Car 1000 should happen next year, where we can find the list of winners by the hundreds. Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Contact the NHRA media department. That's a good idea. Joe, with Mark being back on Erica's crew, how long do you think it will take for her to get consistency and start winning races again? My gosh, Blake, what a great question. Like, that is a well thought out, good question. And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know. But Erica left first in her quad. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. But I also want to make sure that Mark Ingersoll, it was so amazing that he was back. Work-life balance has to continue because health is the most important thing. So, you know, I'll give you a number. Within 7 races. There you go. The shutdown area, most importantly, the runoff area has to be perfectly set up for 1320. Yeah, it's more to it than that now. We've evolved beyond it. That's the answer. We've evolved beyond it. It's not a thing anymore. KB Titan is awful fast. They absolutely are. What is that? Some sort of question? You're welcome to do that. Yeah, look at Force in Virginia. Imagine that at quarter mile. No, I don't want to. Love the sound, man. My iPhone 13 Pro, which is now getting a little long in the tooth, right? Maybe it's time to get a new one. I'm kind of waiting for 17, but the audio, like for nitro cars, if you stand in the right place, it's perfect. That was the experience I had. You guys, audio wise, I don't know what your speaker is like, but that is the experience that I had on the starting line. Did you just feel the power? Yeah, feel the power. See what else. Shoot, tell us the rumors about the Pro Stock meeting. Yeah, not when I can just wait a week and get the real answers, you know. I told you, 1, they were talking about bringing back hood scoops. I can tell you 2, they were talking about limiting tires. Things that we have talked about on the show. Like, instead of teams collecting tires over the years and seasoning them and doing all these things to them. And I don't think you guys maybe know exactly what goes into a tire program on a Pro Stock car. It's crazy. It's extreme. And so some people were suggesting that NASCAR style, when you show up to a race, you go to Goodyear and they give you your 2 sets for the weekend and you put them on and that's that. And then at the end of the weekend, maybe you give them back. I don't know exactly the detail. That's not pro stock. Pro stock is get a set of tires, scrub them in by doing several burnouts, break down the sidewalls a little bit, take some of the weight off of them, and then put them away for like a year so that they age like bourbon or wine. And then you can start running them. And then you keep them. And you know that these tires work well here with this gear, with this, that. And the people who have worked so hard on creating these tire programs, because they are invested and smarter and willing to do things, they were like, we don't want that. We already have done this. We've invested years and years and years in this program. And we've got tires that we know exactly what they are. Why would we want to get rid of all of that? We've already done the right things to get ahead of everybody. And now you're going to take it away. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't think that's going to happen. See, me, I don't dislike the idea of limiting the tires, because you think about all these super teams, right? Like you got 9 cars. Well, I won't say 9 cars. Let's say you got 4 cars and 1 car is leading in the championship. And you can pick the best tires from the 4 cars and empower that one team. But I'm a believer, like you can make a rule 5 years from now. And that way everyone's tires will be worn out in 5 years and then go to the other system. But whatever. Are those meetings G14 classified? I wasn't going to get caught peeking through the window. Put it that way. Went to the 4 wide last year and it was bitchin'. It is. The first time I went to a drag race was 4 wide in Charlotte 2017. Way to go, Christine. Great show. We're almost done with the comments. I went to Vegas 4 wide last year for the first time and I really liked it. It's just something different than compared to traditional 2 wide. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Shane. Very balanced and reasonable opinion. How dare you? 4 wide is a circus joke. It's not just not your favorite. It's a circus joke. It's like not even. I don't know, man. I think that's extreme. Great show today. Joe, I know you talked to Alan. What's going on with Alan? Joe, I know you talked to Alan. I have not talked to Alan yet. I have not spoken with Alan. Alan Reinhart would know about the IHRA rumors, right? Yeah, he would. You'd think. Jordan's shirts look tight. Jordan, are you out there for this? So just so you know, speaking of things I'm not supposed to say, but Jordan gets them tailored like that. That's like, this guy knows what's up. He knows the assets. He knows what to do. He gets them, get them tailored. Like, you like, we're going to take it in, right? Oh, I'm doing the wrong side. Like you get to take it in like normal, right? And then you're like, there it is. There it is. Look at me. Jordan Vandergriff, let me tell you, just great guy. And he and Courtney Enders have demonstrated to me a willingness to be put through the ringer unnecessarily, sometimes for my entertainment, to learn the track announcing skill. And that means a lot. It means a lot that they're willing to come up there, and they are willing. They want to learn. And, I'm trying to be like a sensei, right? Making him wax on and wax off. And Danielson had no idea why Mr. Miyagi was making him do what he did. And remember, he got very frustrated and he's like, show me sand the floor. Well, I'm trying to, and also make it entertaining, because there's nowhere else for us to practice. And if you don't have NHRA.TV, you don't know what we're talking about. Shame on you. You should. Bent, great show. Yes. Wild Willie Borsch and Ed Pink. I can tell you the Ed Pink thing is hitting home a little bit because we spoke with him on Hidden Horsepower, the Total Seal podcast. It was one of the most popular episodes. It's still available. And he told the story about his uncle owning Pink's Hot Dogs. in Los Angeles and his life and his career. And it was really like a Ed Pink bio bit. And to have lost Ed Pink is very sad. The old master. Rest in peace. Can't wait for Dallas next week. Glenn, that is. I thought he meant the Stampede of Speed, which I can announce to you all. You may book your tickets. I have been invited back as host of the Stampede of Speed, guys. I have been invited back. So book your tickets for Dallas. We're doing it again. The full pull 10 days of the Stampede of Speed. Why so negative today? Keith's not negative. He's just asking questions. Congrats to Richard Gadsden on his Too Fast, Too Tasty win. Those Too Fast, Too Tasty races are amazing. Thank you for answering my question. Not going back to 1320. No, stop. Let's stop. Stop with it. It's kind of a nonsensical thing, right? Like going back to the gold standard. There's one. Like, look, there's people who say that, but man, that ain't happening. Get out of here. I'll take your 7 and raise you 3 for EE. Okay. Henry G says 3 races. Well, they do get this off race, so it's kind of cool. Competition Plus article said hood scoops, intake and carb, limiting the amount of tires available, and something about tire width. Tire width. No, I don't think that. So my bet is that none of those things are happening. That's my bet. None of those things are happening. I think the best thing, if I'm giving you my opinion, the best thing would be for the class to get on the same page and work together to chart the road forward and continue to do what they did a few years ago. And they saved the class, and now we got 25 pro stockers at races, and it's amazing. Pro stock has never been closer and more competitive. And then, if they work together on what's best for it, it'll be good. Some teams have a burnout car. Yes, to break in tires. What if you don't have a burnout car? You got to get a burnout car. I would love to see them unleashed and run to the 8th mile. They're pretty much unleashed right now, Samuel. They're unleashed. But you mean no rules? I'd like to see that too. No rules. I'd like to see some form of racing somewhere have no rules and just be unlimited. There was a rumor that's been spread on the internet, a couple of, podcasters or whatever, that they talked about the All-Star race being a quote unquote rung what you brung race. We're talking about NASCAR Cup right now, right? And the teams didn't want to do it. And I thought that was a big mistake. And it seems like everybody, somewhere in the world of motorsports, there's got to be the Chili Bowl is one. It's an example, but it's a limiting factor just based on the cars. But I would love to see, Top Fuel unleashed 8th mile. No gear rule, no nitro rule, whatever. But why do it? That's the point. Why experience something you're not going to experience only in select situations? And I would not choose 8th mile over 1,000 foot, Samuel, now we're going the other direction. You're going to shorten the track. 8th mile is only good where quarter mile is unavailable. That's the way I look at it. I know a lot of people disagree with me, bracket racers and people who want to go fast but not spend a lot of money. But I'm old school in that I will accept 8th mile. I'll, of course, as long as quarter mile is not available because we do not have the real estate of the land. You want to build a track 8th mile and there's no other track available? We can't do it? Do it. You're going to build an 8th mile track instead of a quarter mile track and you have the land just because you don't want to run the back half? Boring. Not boring. Boring's not the word. Just no. Got to have some quarter mile tracks too. Struggling to get to the end. How's the diet going? Poorly, as you should be able to see on NHRA TV. The fatness has occurred quicker than ever before this year. My 14 days between Phoenix and Pomona are the reason. Jordan is well aware of his female audience, speaking as a member of his female audience. Except the captain from the Air Force who did the invocation before the race got all giddy like a high school girl when Jordan went walking by, and I had to call Jordan back to do a selfie with this guy, and he was middle-aged man. So I don't know. But that's a fun thing. 4 wide's only a circus joke to me when a few clowns make mistakes doing it and complain. Many of the best drivers adapt and learn from the mistakes. Well, exactly. People hate 4 wide until they win it. Then they love it because they're in an exclusive club. Best thing for pro stock is make them look like real cars, says Jim Norris. Yes. So on that, like I've been preaching that for a long time. And I would take the exact pro stock combination we have right now with a Factory X style body. If I could do anything, but by doing that, you're spending a couple of $100,000 for every team. Any change, like you're spending $100,000. And in the end, is it really going to make that much of a difference? Like, I don't know. I think it might. The Factory X cars are pretty amazing. And you could have a Mustang, you could have a Challenger, you could have a Camaro, Factory X style with the driveline that's in Greg Anderson's car and the rules that are in Greg Anderson's car. I think people would love that. I would love that. It's a lot of money. We're spending, everybody's spending at least $100,000, at least. And I don't know if you could just body Greg Anderson's car. And I don't know about 210 miles an hour in that body, what that would drive like. But your thought is, well, we'll take it. What remains to be seen is how the NHRA handles the 18-inch wide wheels, which have apparently made their way into the class. Competition Plus from article, wheels, I guess, not tires. I'll have to go see. I was under the impression there was a spec on wheels, but maybe not. Quarter's better than eighth, of course. All right, I'm going to go faster. I'm on a diet for 6 months and I gained 23 pounds. Showed on TV. Yeah. So true. Factory X cars way more expensive to build than a pro stock car. Yeah, Jerry Haas has engaged me on that. And he says it has a lot to do with the steel roof and quarters. Like, why is it more expensive? Because of the mounting of all of those things and all the work and the welding and the whatnot. But boy, they're cool. That change would completely change pro stock overnight. I think the question would be after is how to get more OEMs involved. I think, I hate to say it, and Richard Freeman told me this, that, the OEMs are probably gone. I don't know if that's true or what, but probably the OEMs are gone, that it's an aftermarket sport now, and that there's not going to be a lot of stock in pro stock. Look at every auto manufacturer, even with the change in administration. And I know people think about mandates or goals to electric and all of that. And those are going to go away or have gone away. But at the same time, that hasn't stopped or even slowed the move to electric cars on the street. Obviously, I'm going to say a politically charged name right now, like Tesla, Elon Musk, right? Like, he is part of the government. Like, of course, Elon Musk is going to continue to push his electric cars. That's his business in a capitalistic system. So he believes those are the best thing going. And General Motors got a bunch of Cadillacs coming out that are electric. Like, there's the move to electric, guys, is still a thing. They might not require people to have it, or they might not require a certain date, but the manufacturers, I don't know. I did see that Stellantis is bringing back the Hemi in the Charger. That's great news. But to get them involved in pro stock with a 500 cubic inch naturally aspirated engine, I don't know. The Camaro doesn't exist anymore. The Mustang still exists. And, Dodge, what do they got? I don't think that's happening. Like, I think that's not happening. Again, yeah, but they're involved in Factory Showdown. Like, the stands aren't like overflowing for Factory Showdown. Those are the actual factory cars. I love them. They're the best. They're amazing. Mark Powick, like those guys, it's great. Jonathan Allegrucci gets his first win in years and years and years, is overcome with emotion in FlexJet Factory Stock Showdown. Where are the people? Where's the sea of race fans that are so excited that the rental car that they drove to the airport in is looks just like Jonathan Allegrucci's Mustang? Like, where are they? They're not. That's not what's up. Oh God. I feel like a hybrid system could bring back OEMs. maybe instead of nitrous, you have like this electric battery system. Do you know how much that would cost? Our biggest problem in the sport of drag racing, this is the last comment. I would love to see 4 wives, but every time they come to Charlotte, we have a bracket race. 4 wide. That's like, what's this guy talking about? My kids are racing and et cetera. We can't. Exactly. Guess it's too early to see what manufacturers are talking to the Toyota camps, right? Well, we just don't know. And that's where we'll leave it. Guys, thank you very much. Our little prolonged conversation at the end. Hopefully you enjoy that kind of stuff. I don't think there's a lot of that going on in the NHRA community where you just like open conversation about whatever topic you just put up there in the chat, unfiltered, unscreened. I mean, I screen them, but nobody said anything that I didn't put up. Here we go. The NHRA should do a media piece on the nitro burning alky funny cars and explain why it's 25% cheaper than alcohol. So on that is information that I have been provided by Sean Bellemere and people close to his team. I said that publicly, but I immediately got intense and vicious pushback from Chris and Kevin Houle. Chris and Kevin Houle said, there's no way on earth. And they listed a whole bunch of reasons. And we came to the happy place, like maybe it's 25% cheaper from the way that Tony Bartone does it. Not the way that they do it. And so we came to a happy place. The good news is Sean Bellemere has agreed to come on the show and map it all out for us. Isn't that nice? That's why you click the bell right down there. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. Never miss a show, because I like to think as that WFO is part of the NHRA drag racing and motorsports media ecosystem that you have to watch or listen to, or you'll miss something vital, whether it be Shawn Langdon talking about Brian Hewson, or Austin Prock talking about his golf ball in that lady's yard, or all these questions about pro stock. You must listen to fully get the understanding. Real happy that Brian Loans and I got to be on the mic for the 341. That was pretty cool. Appreciate everybody. And oh, by the way, Big Daddy Don Garlett's getting that trophy. What an amazing moment, guys. If you don't subscribe to NHRA TV, just for that, just for the pre-race, you're missing out. WFO.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free Powertube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.